y'all, I'm Elisa, the Scrappy Wife behind ScrappyWife.com, and today I have a memory planning process for you. I am doing my memory planning from September 6th through the 12th. I have a bunch of pictures. They're actually mostly from the weekend, so it might be a little heavy on this side. And then I believe I'm going to use the Vicki Boutin Color City line. I have a bunch of the ephemera pieces here. I've used this line several times before, but I just really like it. So I'm going to use it again. So that is the plan. I will put you guys on fast forward. I will link everything that I end up using down below. Otherwise, let's go. I use acrylic paint all of the time and all of the things, but I've yet to put it into my planner until today. So I am using the swipe technique. And all you have to do for the swipe technique is just put a little bit of paint on the end of like an old credit card or gift card, something like that. Hold that card at an angle and then swipe it down your page. And you get these big bold brushes of acrylic paint. Acrylic paint is not going to show through your planner pages. It's just going to sit on top. So it's a fun paint to get to try in your planner. And I think especially in a memory planner, it's okay to get creative, get a little messy. It's something that I really enjoy doing. So I'm glad that I finally got up the courage to kind of do it in my memory planner. I am using some Jane Davenport acrylic paint. It works really well because it doesn't really have a sheen to it, so it's easier to write on, and these colors will go nicely with the ephemera that I have from Vicki Boutin's Color Study line. It is one of my favorite favorite paper lines ever. I have already made plans to order some more as soon as they come back in stock over at scrapbook.com, and I love this whole line. It's bright and bold and creative and definitely just calls to me. So I'm gonna lay down some color. Yes, it looks like a lot of color. I'm gonna knock it back just a little bit with some white paint kind of all over just to bring it down a notch. And a lot of this, you have to remember, a lot of this ends up getting covered up. So it looks messy now, and that's okay. It's okay to get messy in your planner, in your memory planner. Try some new things. A lot of this gets covered with pictures and ephemera and things like that. So no big deal. It's fun. It's fun to play with. All right, I'm making sure it's thoroughly dry before I continue putting on anything else. I just want to make sure everything is completely dry. There were some parts that are a little thicker. No worries, this is not going to bleed through at all. Acrylic paint, it sits on top of your page, so it's not going to bleed through, it's not going to shadow. No big deal. It will not affect the backs of these pages. So this was an interesting layout for me because I kind of worked backwards. Normally I would put photos down first and then start adding to it. And this time I worked in the background, and now I'm looking for paper pieces or ephemera pieces that kind of go in this rainbow feel. You can see I have the pink all the way over there on the left, mixing in some yellows and orange, greens and blues. And I'm finding ephemera pieces that kind of fit with the different colors and figuring out where they might be able to live. And once I have those all kind of represented, or each of the colors, then I will come back with my pictures and see where I can end up grouping them across the spread. I do try to aim for my pictures to be on the days that they were actually taken. That can get really hard when you have busy weekends, especially all my kids are in sports. So we have like all of the sports pictures. So it can be hard to fit it all in the same, like on the same day. So I put it as close as possible. And I always end up with extra photos, and that's not a big deal because on my monthly spread, I do a photo a day. So I punch out a circle photo each day. And so when I have extra overflow pictures from my weekly spreads, then I just use them for the monthly spreads to finish those up. And you can see as I'm starting to group how a lot of that color is getting covered up by the photos, which is great because it brings it down a notch, and you're just going to end up seeing splashes of color come from behind them. I tried to layer things. I don't want all of my photos to be in the back with ephemera placed on top. I kind of do sandwiches a lot of times, if that makes sense. So like photo, ephemera, photo, or having the ephemera peek out from behind. I try to change it up because I think it gives more interest. If it gets a little too formulaic, then it's not as interesting to look at and kind of investigate. And one of the things I love about memory planning is going to look for all of those little details that you can hide on the spread that really kind of draw your attention in. All right, I think everything is pretty much in place, so I'm coming with my adhesive tape glider, which is a big pink tape gun that I use to adhere everything down, and I just sped this part up a lot. I end up moving this little tag downwards because I decided I wanted to consolidate where my journaling goes. I do like to add journaling lines, and in this particular spread, I'm going to end up with just two big chunks of journaling, and sometimes that's easier because you can tell a longer story and include a few more details than if it's divided up kind of all over the place. So getting all of these down, and then I'll come back and kind of address this corner. So I had some flowers over there. I didn't really like how they looked, and so I found this camera, which I totally dig. So we're gonna go with the camera over there, and I originally thought that I might want to write in the sidebar and have a little bit of an extra journaling spot, but I think I'm gonna have plenty of writing room in the spread once you see where I add my journaling line. So I'll have to kind of address that empty space. I have all of these cute little phrases that happen to be in like all of the colors that I use. So I'm going to spread them around this layout, and I love how it brings it all together. First, there's a little texture brought in because of the perforated edges of these phrases, and just having those colors pop out again on top of the photos. I like the phrases because it just adds a little bit more interest, and then it brings the whole spread together because there's this consistent look that's going across both pages. So I was super stoked to get to use all of these cute little phrases all over my pictures. They just really work well to continue the story without you having to write out your own journaling words. All right, next up I'm going to add all of the journaling lines, and yes, I will be writing over top the paint. That's why I used a matte acrylic paint and not one with a sheen, so that I would be able to write pretty easily over it. And I just use a T ruler and kind of just eyeball my distance between lines. I'm not worried if it's perfect or not. It just gives me a place to write, and it helps kind of guide where all my writing will go. The lines help me write straight, so that's pretty important to remember. You can see right here, I started coming down and then remembered that I forgot to go across the blue, so I had to go back and kind of extend those lines out. But so you can see I have two really big chunky areas to do a lot of writing in, and that's one of the most important parts about memory planning, is coming back and writing in some of those details, some of those stories that happened during the week. All right, and the last little detail I'm going to take care of is this side bar. So once I saw how many journaling lines I had, I knew I really didn't need the sidebar. So I'm going to try to figure out, I love this piece that says real life right now, because that's of course exactly what memory planning is. These sunglasses are super cute with the rainbow. So I'm going to kind of layer these two pieces over here to the side and use them to kind of fill up this space. But something I was thinking about when I was putting those down is that I wanted a little bit more black on the spread. There will be a lot of black once I journal, but I decided to grab some washi tape, and I actually have some. This is from Wild University, and it looks like a composition notebook, so I'm tearing it in half and just using it to add a little bit of black over there, and then I'll use that in a few more spots in the spread just to make it consistent. Once I am done with the washi, I will do my journaling off camera, and this layout will be done. I will have to punch out. I have one little tag that overlaps a hole, so I use my We Are Memory Keepers disc punch to punch out that hole so that it can pop straight back into my planner. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider hitting that subscribe button as well as the bell notification button. Like I said earlier, I will link all of the supplies that I used down below so you can check those out. Heads up, some of those will be affiliate links. It does not cost you anymore, but it does go a long way towards supporting this channel. And I want to give a huge shout out to my Scrappy YouTube members. Thank you so much for your monthly support. If you're interested in becoming a Scrappy YouTube member and receiving some of the perks that they receive, then make sure to click that join button or check the link in the description. All right, I hope that you have a fabulous day, and as always, keep it creative.